Greetings, my good bitches. The name's Francis. QueenCokeFrancis. I'm an editor, Twitch streamer, drag artist, and I'm here because you should all be ashamed of yourselves. I've been on YouTube for about 3 years now, and never in my pretty life did I think that a video about Mr. Bertram Yaoi would be the one that the YouTube algorithm gods would finally bless. But they did, and now you're all here, and I couldn't possibly be happier that you are. And it truly means the world to me that you guys enjoy my content. I was aiming to hit 10k subs by the end of the year, and I ended up hitting that milestone last week. Seriously, you guys are the real heroes. And because Mr. Bertram Yaoi is so specific, I was worried that any video I made after that wouldn't perform as well. But lo and behold, turns out Mr. Bertram was not the right wing's only attempt at animated anti-woke comedies. 2024 has now blessed us with another cartoon dumpster fire called The New Norm, which is like if you asked your mom if you could get Mr. Bertram and she said that you had Mr. Bertram at home. Turns out, premiering exclusively on Daily Wire Plus is not the saddest sentence in the English language, because it has officially been topped, wank, by the sentence, the first animated sitcom on X, complete with the taglines, legalize humor, and worst of all, the South Park of X. We really are living in a Bo Burnham song right now. The New Norm follows Norm, a conservative old white man who's been placed on house arrest for being offensive, which I'm sure is just the creator's barely disguised fetish. He has a wife named Janice and a daughter currently only known as Daughter. Daughter simps for Chaz, a they-them causing mayhem, and also a reference that's about 16 years too late. As you can see, the right is somehow still butthurt over people trying to stop spreading a disease over 4 years ago. He also has a token black friend named Charlie, whose entire personality is wearing a Washington Redskins shirt.
Washington Redskins, go fuck yourself.
Oh, and because this is a Twitter exclusive, we're all still dead naming Twitter, right? There's an obligatory Elon Musk dick ride thrown in at the end. Oh, and there's a laugh track too for some reason. The Daily Wire is co-waking in her little boots, honey. The New Norm boasts some of the biggest talent in the conservative comedy scene. We've got Larry Elder, a pick-me politician playing an equally pick-me character. He actually almost became the governor of California a few years ago, except that he didn't. We've got Dave Rubin, a breakout conservative stand-up star whose material is sourced entirely from market research questionnaires.
All gay people, is everyone here gay? How many of you would say that you're conservatives? Do we have any bisexuals? Who here has gay people in their family? Let's see, everyone. Do we have some lesbians? I sense lesbians in the crowd.
And whose stage presence can only be described as first day at a Young Republicans meeting at Chapman University.
How's my friend over there doing? Uh-oh. How are you? I was just checking in with you. Doing good. Anything I can do for you? Good. I don't know that I have that kind of power. I mean, I'll ask. I'll see what I can do.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
We've got this guy. And, yeah, those are the only names billed on IMDb. Obviously none of the women though, right? Unless the guys are providing voices for that, which goes against their entire... But perhaps the strangest part of this episode is that not only is there only one episode, a pilot, it's only 4 minutes long. So unfortunately, I had to watch it. But because I'm just an awesome guy, I will not subject you guys to it. Though if you are morbidly curious, you can find it pretty much anywhere. But I do want to show you just a few examples so that you know exactly what we're dealing with here.
I don't understand. You're black.
Did that just black whisper? Y'all influenced my boy to cut off his junk, but draw the line at beer?
Find a way to break him. Maybe we can fix the country.
Make America funny again.
There's no way this is real. Give me just 1 second. Okay, it is real, but it has to be trolling. Ain't no way it isn't. Who was the gay genius behind this masterpiece? 1 second. Okay, so it's not a gay genius behind this, but it's gotta be someone definitely gay. There's no other possible reason they would be this obsessed with gay and non-binary people if they weren't, you know? Who could it be? Okay, huge thank you to JMAA TV for sleuthing. I'll put a link to their video in the description box because they deserve way more views and subscribers for actually making this. The man behind the new norm is Michael Prell, who, according to his Amazon author bio, is a writer and strategist for the Tea Party Patriots. Yes, good bitches, the fucking Tea Party. Because holy shit, these people really are chronically 15 years late to the party in pop culture, even when it comes to their own politics. No wonder Sacha Baron Cohen was able to have a revival a few years ago. And speaking of Zionism, Michael Prell is also apparently a writer for Benjamin Netanyahu, whatever that means. Imagine what Netanyahu's Tight 5 would look like. Either way, I'm sure it would be way funnier than anything Dave Rubin has ever mumbled on stage.
You know that the gays are cold, that they fear the cold. The gays love water, but fear the cold.
Men aren't funny. Anyway, this pilot has been mocked and panned to death as you would expect. But because the internet is amazing and so are many of the people on it, in addition to the absolute barrage of sexual harassment people have been throwing their way on Twitter, there is, you didn't guess, you already knew, there is some tremendous yaoi and yuri to come out of the new norm. That's why you're here. So back by very popular demand, I decided to rank all the new norm yaoi and yuri I could find. But before I do, if you are a fan of watching a very tired drag queen talk about nerd shit forever, I ask that you please invite Elon Musk to make a guest appearance in your new weird transphobic cartoon. But when he actually shows up because he's desperate for someone, anyone, to like him, crush his dreams by going ahead and unzipping your pants and dick slapping those like and subscribe buttons as hard as you can. All the art I found was on Twitter and nothing is unclaimed this time, but if I did happen to misattribute something to someone, please just let me know. And if you are one of the brilliant artists featured in this video, I would love it if you left a comment introducing yourself. That was by far my favorite thing to come out of my last yaoi video. And once again, art is subjective. What flips my flapjack might not flip yours. So feel free to disagree with any of my choices. And also, once again, nothing landed below a C. Okay, so the first piece we have here is by Devious Paisano, and we've got a lot of interesting things going on here. This is the first of several with the Chorm pairing, or is it gnarly? Yaoi experts, sound off in the comments below. It seems like Charlie's love life is actually pretty tumultuous, because this is implying that Norm is his first normal partner, especially since he's secretly dating a not actually a cameo of Elon Musk. I personally think that Charlie should cut ties with Muskrat because Norm is looking at Charlie the way that everybody deserves to be looked at some point in their lives. There's a nice size difference going on here as well, and I really love the shading and the orange background. We're already off to a great start. This one gets an A. This next one is by Max Dentist, and this is the first of several Nurchum pieces we'll see today. Or is it Borm? Yaoi experts, sound off in the comments below. We all saw this pairing coming, and let's be honest, we couldn't be happier about it. Truly the crossover we needed but didn't deserve. I know a lot of you claimed that Mr. Bersham was actually the bottom in his relationship with Elliot, but I'd like to hear your thoughts of what his dynamic with Norm might be. Either way, we've got another classic Pride Month background, and the art itself is actually very lore accurate to the original works, so this one also gets an A. As I mentioned earlier, we weren't just treated to some great yaoi from the show, but some absolutely lovely yuri as well between Chaz and Daughter. So far, Flower Smell Fine is the only one who might have confirmed the name of Daughter, so this pairing could be Choi and Class, or Daz and Chotter. Yuri experts, sound off in the comments below. Absolutely love all the Choi art that I came across. This one's a simple black and white sketch, but the flags really do add a nice touch of color and representation, so I'm gonna give this one a solid B. Okay, so this next one by Fish Sauce 123. Is this also a reference to the Twilight Sparkle Mordecai meme that you guys were all losing your minds over in my last video? So here's the tea with that. I knew it was a reference to something, but I didn't know what. and I didn't want to pretend that I did, and now I'm paying the price. So Captain Calcium, please know that you are an incredible preserver of internet history, and I thank you for your contribution, and I apologize for my ignorance. That said, someone please tell me, is this also a reference to the Twilight Sparkle Mordecai meme? I have to know. Anyway, this is some solid work here from Fish Sauce. Once again, I am loving the inclusion of the flag representation, and this couple of baddies are going in the B pile. There's an ancient proverb that goes, if you hate them, draw them pregnant. I think it's by Confucius or something. This piece by Splatoon Fan 138 gives new meaning to that proverb with this absolutely beautiful couple that are simply blushing with joy at the prospect of something conservatives love to obsess over. By the way, the only reason conservatives are mad about the idea of men getting pregnant is that they typically never want to control men's bodies. You're absolutely right, Splatoon Fan. We are in the peak of conservative comedy right now, and this one gets a high A. Here's another pregnancy piece by Satire Gender. What a perfect username for this. I'm not sure if this would technically pass for Yaoi since there isn't a pairing, but there clearly had to have been at some point, unless Norm is the new Virgin Mary and is growing the new living lord in his belly. That idea alone is prime conservative jerk-off fuel. But I love that what Norm's saying here might be a subtle reference to the way that non-binary people are depicted in the show. Everyone calls Chaz a thing because they have short hair and baggy pants, I guess. So even though Norm previously held biases against non-binary people earlier, being pregnant with a non-binary might have changed his mind. Hopefully the arrival of his beautiful bouncing non-binary will finally free him from his house arrest. And even though it's technically not yaoi, I'm still giving this one an A. Here's a nice simple chorm sketch by Wallaby Wolfgang. We've got some tasteful nudes here, and Charlie seems to have swapped his Washington Redskins hat with a Love Wins hat. Is this a reference to something? Please tell me, I'm paranoid now. Anyway, this one gets a solid B. I am in love with this piece by Adel Hansha. The colors, the shading, the little details like the female and trans symbols, Chaz's nose being absolutely snatched, the top-bottom dynamic, honestly, perfect, 10 out of 10, no notes. And this is our very first S-ranked piece. Okay, so these next 5, all done by different artists, but they all use the same template. Is this a reference to something? These are the kind of things that keep me up at night. As much as I love the drool and blushing going on in these ones by Vibes to the and Me in Person, I am putting these in the C pile only because I'm not sure who this pairing with Norm is supposed to be. If either of you are watching, I apologize in advance because they are still really cute. In the B pile, I'm putting this Pride Month themed piece by Dick Farmduns, this chorm piece by Bready Guy, and this other chorm piece by Cabadocio CEO. I already know I butchered that. I'm very sorry. I don't have a bias against the MS Paint art, you guys. I just happen to appreciate fine yaoi. Up next, we have a 2-parter Yuri piece by Bread Kowalczyk. I love the semi-chibi aesthetic in the first panel and the fact that daughter might have been race-swapped. It's definitely the kind of wokeness that conservatives are usually the most bothered by. And we've got a nice Pride Month background in the second panel along with a timeless message. And my god, these two are just precious. And I'm giving this one a solid A. This artist joked that they shouldn't be allowed to draw while sick, but I couldn't possibly disagree more. This piece by Sort of an absolutely subverted my expectations when I was doing research for this video. Because like we all expected the Mr. Burcham pairings because of the recency, but what we didn't expect, well, what I didn't anyway, was a double Norm crossover. Norm is featured here with none other than Twitter superstar Norm of the North. And it's such a beautiful affront to the show creators' views and values. We've got the imaginary homosexuality leads to bestiality fantasy at play here. The showrunners clearly didn't realize that being old, white, and right doesn't just apply to cartoon humans. It also applies to 3D rendered polar bears with multiple trips to rehab, apparently. Listen guys, if this is wrong, I don't want to know what's right. And just for subverting my expectations, this one gets a highly esteemed S ranking. This next one is from the Chaz79. Wait, Chaz? The Chaz? The they, them causing mayhem from the show? I'm gagged. Anyway, we've got another Nurchum crossover, and the first panel is a reference to the infamous rainbow beer can from the show. Mr. Bertram delivers this tragic news to Norm, who's like,
You what?
and then in the second panel, we see exactly what I wish every presidential debate would devolve into. Don't act like you don't agree. You're in this with me till the end. And based on the fulfillment of that fantasy alone, I'm putting this in the A pile. Speaking of tragic, I once again regret to inform you that I will have to censor one of these so that I don't get demonetized, but that does not take away from this stellar work here by 2-star Pajani. I already know I butchered that. I'm so sorry. It's about damn time that we finally introduced some Ahegao into the Norm Yaoi-verse, and this artist actually had the balls to do so. I'm really loving the shading and dimensions on this part that I'm not allowed to show you. It's pretty hard not to norm off to this one. You guys know how much of a fan I am of the especially smutty pieces, so I'm giving this one a high A. Thank you for your service, sir and or madam. I gotta say though, all the Yuri of Chaz and Daughter really knocked it out of the park here, and this piece by Davron Mielen is one of them. Really great line work and color palettes here, and I love how Daughter is really leaning into the idea that she too might be a non-binary. Conservatives will call it grooming or brainwashing or whatever else they like to jerk off to, but as Daughter's hoodie suggests, it's called being yourself. They are so cute. I absolutely love this pairing, and I'm gonna give this an S. Speaking of cute, check out this 4-way crossover by Confetti777. We've got Chorm and Nurchum all snuggling together after what I assume was a long, successful night full of sweet, tender lovemaking. Norm's Popeye arm here kind of caught me off guard, but then I realized that it might be a reference to these anime hands that Norm threw in the pilot, in which case, that is a brilliant detail. I also love how Elliot is wearing the same pink striped stockings that I wore for an Emily Autumn lip sync the other day. This is peak bro bonding. This is what alpha males look like. And I'm in a good mood today, so this one gets an S as well. Damn, Confetti777, are you on Molly right now? Because you are on a roll today, sis. Here's another great Chorm Nurchum piece that they made. I'm assuming this takes place either before or after the other one we just looked at. As you can see, Charlie is looking thicker than a Snickers here. Norm is somewhat enviously glancing over at Mr. Bertram and Elliot because he knows damn well that Charlie is the dadliest catch here. But Elliot and Mr. Bertram seem like they're just happy to be here, especially because I'm sure they planned the events to follow. I love the pink background and all the flower petals here at the bottom. I'm gonna give this one a solid A. Alright, here's our very last piece by Kayuke, and as you can see, we have once again saved one of the best for last. They say that hands are the hardest, but I'd argue that I am in this case. I think my favorite part of this is the fact that it's a reference to this, which I actually wouldn't have known had Kayuke not said so in the comments, so thank you for providing that context. This is a masterpiece for obvious reasons. I assume that this arm belongs to Charlie, further implied by the forbidden fruit symbolism we have going on here. Just beautiful. A well-deserved S ranking to you. Once again, I don't really have too much to add other than a huge thank you and congrats to all the artists I featured here today. I have way too much fun making these, and I never thought I'd say this, but I hope conservatives never stop making cartoons. You guys get to exercise your freedom of speech by being as painfully unfunny as you want, and we get to exercise ours by yaoi-ing right-wing propaganda. Adam Carolla, Michael Prell, Daily Wire, Twitter, please heed my words. Never stop, never stopping. But I don't know, y'all. There's still a part of me that refuses to believe that this isn't satire. Just look at the way they interact with people on Twitter. Look at their exclusive sneak peek of drawing the singular living room in a 4-minute clip. There has to be some degree of self-awareness, right? I kind of feel like I'm going insane. Is this how some of you guys feel when you drive yourselves crazy trying to figure out what my genitals look look like. Unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot of lore around this show that hasn't already been talked about, but I do want to include that the IMDb description of their first episode is actually the logline for a sitcom called The New Normal, and was about a rich couple of BuzzFeed gays looking for a surrogate, which ends up being this lady who also has one of the most insufferable TV kids I've ever seen. Considering the key search terms listed here include racist stereotype, right-wing propaganda, and white rage, I'm sure this wasn't an accident. God, I love the internet. And do you know what else I love? The collection of awesome Daniel Radcliffe stories that you guys shared. Womp Womp 5327 says, one of my friends has the Daniel Radcliffe's hairy asshole card from Cards Against Humanity signed by him. So there's my secondhand nice Daniel Radcliffe story. Michael Comenta says, my Daniel Radcliffe story is that because of him being naked in a play, I found out I was gay when I was 14. So yes, he is phenomenal. Yes. Ron to the Hill says, Daniel Radcliffe told me to leave this comment for the algorithm. Extremely helpful advice. And finally, Tay Mustard 620 says, Daniel Radcliffe saved my cat. You too could be featured in the next video. Leave a comment below. I will pick my favorite one and give you a shout out next time and pin your comment to the top of the comments section. If you would like to see me simp for my favorite game characters and get visibly frustrated in real time, please follow me and my beautiful co-producer Mitchell on Twitch. I stream most Sunday afternoons PST, and we are still raising money for the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. I also just became an affiliate, so thank you all for helping me reach that goal. If you would like to see even more of my clown mug elsewhere, please consider following me on Instagram or TikTok. My handle for all of the above is at QueenCokeFrancis. If you love my videos and my drag, you can support this channel directly by donating to my Patreon. I'm always aiming to create as many unique looks as possible for each video, and for some reason I picked a very expensive hobby. So if you're like me and you're only here for the fashion, the link to my Patreon is in the description box. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't done so already, please invite Elon Musk to be a guest on your new weird transphobic cartoon. But when he actually shows up because he's desperate for someone, anyone, to like him, crush his dreams by going ahead and unzipping your pants and dick slapping those like and subscribe buttons as hard as you can. And of course, as always, until next time,